So we are here. Paul Wagner, the Paul Wagner, is going to join us in the second segment today. And that's kind of be the norm of these shows on the Saturdays because for those who don't know, Paul got a side hustle this time of year. It's not really a side hustle. It's his main gig. He is the pitching coach for the Lake Country Dockhounds. By the way, did you notice that I didn't stumble over that?
You didn't. Yeah. It's like 3 years in now, so you got to have it figured out.
All winter in my spare time. You know, my wife's like, what are you doing? You're mumbling to yourself. I'm saying I'm practicing Lake Country Dockhounds.
Yeah.
Lake Country Dockhounds. So we'll talk to Wags in segment number 2 today. The land baron that he is, the mayor of Washington County, as Drew and KB like to call him.
Yeah.
What is it? Something of the barley pop. What is it? The Baron of the Barley Pop. I think they've got too many names for him. Anyway, the land baron that he is, he let you venture out on the property this week.
Yeah, a bunch of times.
Out trying to chase the turkey. We're going to tackle that in segment 2 when Wags is with us. We'll discuss that on the program today. If you missed us, we're glad to be back. Took last week off. There was a thing called the NFL Draft that we were heavily involved in.
What's that? Big deal, huh?
So my brother-in-law, a lifer in Green Bay, right? Mark's been up there, I don't know, him and Pam, 30-plus years.
Yeah.
Mark goes, I'm like, dude, draft coming up, got the house, you want to come over? I'll come over to your house. I don't want it to be anywhere near that.
Yeah.
He says, I'm turkey hunting.
Yeah.
So he was out of town. But his wife, Pam, and I, we had a great time at the NFL Draft on Saturday. But it was one of those things that we joked about that when we were up there. You know, it's like the Ice Bowl. And I don't know if you've heard this story before, but, I mean, there was maybe 60,000 at the Ice Bowl.
Okay.
But you understand 1.5 million people claim that they were there. Okay.
Yeah.
It's just, oh, yeah, I was there, or my parents were there. I had a guy one time tell me about how he was like 2 years old and his parents wrapped him up in a sleeping bag, and I'm like, yeah, right, whatever.
I'm sure you weren't there, but yeah.
No, I wasn't there. I was born, but I wasn't there. But we joked about the fact that's what the draft is going to be, where people are going to say when you look back at this, fond memories, oh, man, I was there Thursday night when Mark Murphy came out and he announced Golden is the wide receiver. It was electric.
Yeah.
I can't even truly put it into words how amazing it was.
Sure.
And to be there and be part of it. At the same time, you know, I know that the guys have given me and Doug Russell a lot of kudos this week, which is always appreciated. They're smart. They know who to.
They're smart.
They know who to thank.
Yeah.
I'm kidding, of course. But there were so many people involved in this, and what was really awesome for me was that when we were in New Orleans for the Super Bowl, and we were with, you know. Members of the Green Bay Packers and members of the Rest Center and Nick from Discover Green Bay and the whole team and their vision and you draw mock-ups and that kind of stuff, right? And oftentimes what you think it's going to be, it's close, but it's not quite. I'm telling you, what they envisioned, what they thought, what they mocked up, it was that and then some.
Yeah.
The one that really struck me was that Drew and I were walking in on Thursday in the day, like, I don't know, 12:30, 1 o'clock. And they had the gates open, I believe, at noon on Thursday. I believe so. So our entrance was near the Aaron Sledding Hill. And one of the mock-ups, one of the things that they had drafted was families and kids on the sled hill. We walked in, and I looked to my left, and I was stunned by what I saw.
Wow.
It was exactly what they envisioned would happen. And there was families, and there was kids rolling down the hill. I mean, it was just like, it was so picturesque. I'm just looking at this going, this is surreal. And the fact that it basically went off without a hitch. And again, I saw one report that over the 3 days, only one arrest was made.
I did see that as well.
And the only downer to this was the weather on Friday. If the weather on Friday would have been consistent to Thursday, they would have blown it out of the water.
Yeah.
They would have had 800,000 easy over the 3-day weekend. I mean, Thursday was just crazy. Saturday was equally crazy. Friday, because of the weather, it was cooler. But Friday night, the rain moved out, and it wasn't bad. The only thing we can compare it to, and again, I'm going to go back to a conversation I had with Drew. If you've ever seen the videos, like a YouTube video or whatever, but those concerts that they hold on the beach in Rio, like the Rolling Stones, and there's one with, and it's a sea of people as far as the eye can see. That's what it was like in Green Bay for the draft.
So why did I saw something that they were like capping attendance, but the numbers were widely different. Like the first day was like 125, but then 200 the next day. Well, what
happened with it was that they didn't cap attendance. What they did was they stopped. At one point, the main area in front of the stage, they couldn't let anybody else in.
Right.
And so the crowds, as the night went on, the crowds thinned out a little bit. And then they let people back in.
Okay.
So those numbers are legit.
Yeah, I just thought it was strange that the numbers were like varying so much. Because they had said like 125, but then the next couple days it was
200,000.
Like 200.
It was a solid 200,000. Yeah. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And that's the crazy thing about it for those who weren't there, right? If you've been up there for a Packers game, a Lambeau seats almost 80. So if you throw in maybe people, and as we all know, it's tradition. If you don't have tickets, a lot of people just hang out, around the stadium district there and watch the game on the big screens and in different bars and stuff like that. You might have 100.
Yeah.
Well, you had double that in that space, and I mean, kudos again to everybody involved in this, and I'm even leaving us city officials. I mean, law enforcement, and when we walked out of the rest center where the media compound was. Thursday, Friday night, 11:30, 12 o'clock. There were some weary people involved in that. And, they put it on. I mean, that was years in the making to put it off, to make it come together as it did was just, it was just amazing. So that's why I wasn't here last week, involved heavily with the draft. I know that, you were busy, doing the hunting stuff. Wags is involved in the baseball stuff too. So all that stuff is going on. But so we welcome you in. It's Tailgate Talk. And one thing, and we should stress on the show, is that sometimes we just talk about stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's a lot of stuff that happens in our world that are very...
Outdoors is our passion.
Yeah.
But the theme of Tailgate Talk is that, you know what, sometimes we just talk about stuff.
Sometimes we're talking about the NFL draft on the tailgate.
Yeah. Well, and there was a lot of tailgating going on.
Of course.
With that. We had our own tailgate on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Fired up the grill at the Flop House and did some burgers and brats and some... nobody wanted hot dogs this year. I don't know why. No hot dogs.
Not enough toppings, or they just went straight for the brats?
Nah, they just wanted brats and hamburgers. That's what we did this year. So what's going on with you? What's in the news?
Yeah, we're going to start getting. I think we're going to start getting some early numbers on the turkey season. Because those numbers have to be reported. But they're starting to do some interesting things with the. CWD sampling efforts. So they take those samples, they're able to collect it, they're able to digest it. Almost 18,000 deer were sampled throughout the state of 2024 for CWD. And 1,786, so 17,399 deer were sampled. 1,786, so not just over 10% of those deer that were tested positive for the disease.
That's am I wrong in saying that's a somewhat high percentage? 10%. You would like to have it somewhere between 1% and 5%, right?
Well, I think you'd like to have it as low as possible.
Well, you'd like to have it at 0%, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm just curious as to what the reaction is, because mine, on the surface, when you say it's 10%, I'm like, wow.
Yeah, it doesn't actually say, I'm sure they have some of the more in-depth details. They don't have an average over the last couple of years.
And that was deer tested from around the state, right?
Full state. So total everywhere.
Well, and here's the other thing too. Okay, so of 17,000 tested, they found 10% had CWD. How many deer were actually taken?
Oh, a lot.
You know what I'm saying?
I got that number too.
So for example, but again, if let's say there was a I don't know 100,000 deer taken.
Yeah.
So then someone would say to me, well, Tim, that's almost 80,000 plus that weren't tested.
Right. Yeah.
And so and that's why I thought when you said 17,000. We'll have to ask Wags about that next week because I'm just curious. So your reaction was when you saw that it was 10%. You didn't go, wow.
I didn't know,
okay.
But
all right.
I don't know if I thought the total number that were sampled was high because or if that was low. Right. I guess I didn't have a perspective on it one way or another because they make it so easy that you can get it tested.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't cost you anything.
Right.
But if you don't have a concern, like the only time that I've ever had a deer tested, I shot a deer a number of years ago, maybe 7 years ago. And as we got it loaded up on the back of the truck, a DNR warden actually drove down the back road that we were hunting off of. And I even thought to myself, this deer looks like it has a cold. Like it had goopy eyes. It had like a snotty nose. I don't know. It just kind of looked a little off. And they stopped. They said, would you be okay if we tested your deer? And I said, I don't really care. If that's what you'd like to do, go ahead. So they took like the thyroid out.
Mm-hmm.
And it ended up coming back, and it was not positive for CWD. But there was an area, there was a an outbreak nearby where we hunt. So I figured, why not? I should probably do that. And I also thought, this deer looks like it has something wrong with it. So maybe I should just get it tested just to make sure.
Yeah.
But besides that, I don't know how much people actually go out of their way to do it. So this, I think, confirms for me that not many people actually do that. Not many people actually get their deer tested.
I'm reading a little bit on this too. And they said for this season, the DNR focused its efforts on increasing sample collections in designated what they term fall priority areas. It was available statewide. In total, 17,399 deer were sampled. As you said, 1,786 tested positive. Most, 89% of the detections were in the southern farmland zone.
Yes. I was shocked by how dense that population was down there. So that was the big standout from this report, that I would say 95% or more, 95% we'll say.
Yeah, I'm looking at the
we're
map
all in
right
that
now.
grant,
wow.
and it's all in that southwest corner of the state.
Mm-hmm.
So to give you some numbers on that, there were 288,193 deer taken last year, and only 17,399 were actually tested. That's 6% of all deer were actually tested for CWD. That number is surprisingly low. As big of an effort as the DNR has made to try and do more testing, and as much as we live in this radio world and we always say frequency sells, we see this starting in July, August, and then once September comes, I mean, it's a regular thing that you hear about if you live in this, deer hunting world of, free CWD testing, get your deer tested, test for CWD. I mean, they just hit you over the head with it all throughout the fall. And for us to only have a 6% actual testing ratio, that seems really low to me. That seems like a very, very insignificant amount.
It's interesting because it seems like it's the southern part of the state, southwestern part of the state, is where the biggest numbers of CWD come in.
Yeah.
But in the article, they said they also detected several of the counties in the west central or central part of the state, including Adams, Buffalo, Dunn, Eau Claire, Jackson, Juneau, Marathon, Monroe, Portage, and Trempealeau, all had reports of deer that tested positive for CWD. Again, the DNR reminding people of that there has been no reported case. of CWD jumping from deer to humans today.
Yeah.
However, they always recommend against consuming meat from deer that have been tested positive for CWD.
Did you know that if you shoot a deer that tests positive for CWD, they give you a new tag for free?
I did not know that.
So my buddy, who's probably one of the best hunters that I know, shot a nice buck 2 years ago and sent it in for sampling, tested positive, shot another buck the next week.
Wow.
So a very good season for him to have two archery buck tags filled.
The Paul Wagner, Erik Tasker, to the show. You know, he has time for every show up and down the dial, and he finally found time to join his own show on Saturday mornings. Wags, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing well. Boys, thank you so much for squeezing me in. I know there's a busy schedule and a timeline to follow, but thanks for getting me in.
Well, we got to bust your chops a little bit. You know that. Nothing but love between the three of us here. So let's talk a little bit about your day job, which is the Dock Hounds. It's cranking. And then I get this text from Wags going, hey, Major League Baseball, they're stealing pitchers from us. Well, that's a good thing, isn't it?
Means you're doing your job, Wags.
That means, yeah. You know what? He might be this might be the Erik and Tim show if this continues.
You know, it is. It's the main goal. It's the goal to get kids to live out their dreams and somehow, some way get to the big leagues. But this is kind of our big leagues, the Lake Country Dock Hounds, the Milwaukee Milkmen. We had a couple Dock Hound players going against a couple Milkmen on the bowling alley the other day. You know, that's for us. And I do understand the long-term goal for these guys. But, you know, sometimes you just get a little, man, just stay here. Just stay here for a while because, you know, that's what we want to do. We want to win. But, yes, we lost one pitcher to the Seattle Mariners, and then we just lost one the other day to the Boston Red Sox. So, you know, let's see what happens. Good for them, bad for me.
Well, you know, Wags, it's been an interesting, we'll call it 2 weeks here, just to round it out. But I've been thinking of you every morning while I've been driving into the office. And, you know, it seemed like the weatherman was never correct during our turkey season. But now it feels like it's been nothing but pouring rain for the last couple of days. So you guys are just kind of squeaking her in here and there and wherever you can get an hour on the field. You just got to adapt, right? It's like kind of all parts of your job right now. Players, personnel, weather, everything going on.
Meteorologist.
It is. No. Yes. You know, and then you see, you know, even this whole past week, we've been watching radars. I haven't seen more phones out with radar readings. Hey, we got a little dry period. So at least I can get the pitchers out on the field and they can at least play catch. They do a little bit of a toss. You know, with the wet turf, we can't do much else, but they can get outside because you're limited with indoor space. We don't have that. The facility is mainly an outdoor facility. So when we get a break in the weather, even if it's for a half an hour or a 55-minute window, we pack it up real fast and get out there and take advantage of it.
Yeah. I've been driving by and I see you usually in the morning and I'm like, oh yeah, today looks like a good day to practice. And then the next day I'm like, yeah, they're going to be inside all day. It just seems like it's been so hit or miss. And
yeah, but you know what, though? That's the same thing. I know when my sons played high school baseball, I mean, they were plagued by the fact that a lot of practices, Wags, were done inside. And, I mean, makeup games seem to be a consistent thing when you played spring baseball. Now, I don't know if the WIAA has it anymore, but it used to do. You had spring baseball, and then you had summer baseball for the smaller schools. And so we always played summer baseball when I was in high school, so that wasn't an issue. But when my sons played, man, the weather was a huge factor all the time.
Yeah, so what they did, the WIA did a few years ago, is they eliminated summer baseball. I believe, I'm going to just give you rough numbers so you understand, there was 150 spring baseball teams and there was only 50 summer baseball teams. So what the WIA did is combine those, again, I'm just using a fictitious number, moving 200 all to spring, and then this year WIAA did not reinvent or reintroduce the summer league. What they did is they pushed, the spring league back 7 days just to try to get a benefit from weather. But yeah, there's no more summer baseball as days passed. Now it's all teams play spring ball, but the spring season has been pushed back about, I think, 7 to 8 days just to try to help us and help the high school student athletes to be able to play and not get so many rainouts and snowouts.
So as we talk to Paul Wagner right now on this Saturday morning, my stepson and his uncle and his cousin are in a turkey blind outside Reedsburg, Wisconsin. And I said, I gave him my over-under to use. Okay? And I said, Will, I know this gun works, so you have no excuses.
Oh, man.
But he was excited. His cousin came in from Florida. His uncle from Green Bay came over kind of supervise. Grandpa's going to be involved a little bit too. But he's excited. Got out the camouflage on Wednesday with him and ready to get after it. So, yeah, I mean, we're right smack dab in the middle of the turkey season, aren't we, guys?
We are, yeah. Period 3 or period C right now. And, I don't know, Wags. I mean, boy, we've seen more of one another in the last 10 days than we have probably in the last 5 years that we've known one another. But, it was tough. I mean, I didn't get a bird, but I didn't really have many opportunities either.
Oh, here we go, Wags. Here we go.
It was tough. The one day I have to take the wife to the airport on Thursday.
Boy. Okay, here we go.
And Wags is sitting in the redneck, and he calls me, and he's like, Eric, there's 3 Toms out in the field right now. I'm like, all right, well, I'm in Chicago, so we can't do anything about that. And, I don't know. I mean, I don't really know what to say about it. I'm on a pretty bad streak of luck right now.
Well, you didn't shoot and miss, but then those 2 times that you saw didn't come. Then the one time when you didn't, you decided, I don't know what you were doing. He was just walking on the trail but never came into the field, which brings us to another question that we want to present again. And then the day after I went out there 2 times, I sent you the picture.
Yep.
They didn't get close enough for the bow or nothing, but they were in the field probably about, I think I had them at about 69 to 75, and then they took off into the woods. But I'm going to tell you what, it's going to be that big question. Do you use decoys or do you not?
Yeah. Yeah, and
Did you guys use decoys?
Well, we did after the first couple days.
Right.
And it was really funny. So, my wife was in Barcelona getting the stepdaughter home, and she went to go visit her for the last couple days, and she's packing all of her stuff, and she's staying at this smaller hotel. Well, she takes her hairdryer with, which normally wouldn't be a problem. I don't have much hair. So Wags says, hey, grab these decoys, take them out there. So I take the box with, they've been in the box for, I don't know, a year, Wags? Maybe longer.
I never opened it. I bought them. I bought them and never used them.
So they don't even open up, right? I couldn't even put them on the stick. So I take them. I end up taking them home. You're going to find some
dusty but trusty ones. Not the case, huh?
No. So I take them home. I'm like, all right, I'm going to just take them with, and I'll use the hairdryer. I'll warm them up. I'll get them back into shape, and I'll start using them. And I get home, and my wife has the hairdryer in Barcelona, along with the one that the hotel supplied her. So she had 2, and I had 0. So I'm boiling water, trying to steam these decoys back to life. And I put them out.
And just throw them in the shower.
Well, I could have done that too, but this was easier. I wasn't going to take a shower at that point in time.
Well, you didn't have to hop in with them. The steam could have.
Yeah, turkeys can't smell. Turkeys can't smell. I didn't need to smell nice.
Boy. You know what, Wags? It's becoming more and more clear to me why this man is unsuccessful, but carry on.
So I take them back out there, and Wags has always said, deer don't like the turkeys, and turkeys don't like the deer. So we have a solution. We're just going to use decoys all the time.
It's like Milwaukee and Madison. Go ahead.
Sure. Yeah. So we're going to use decoys all the time now, because the deer walk out, they get pissed, and they see, I've got this video that this mama walks out with her 3 babies, and she's stomping and she's blowing, and she walks immediately out of the field. I'm like, okay, well, there's a solution to our problem. If the turkey don't want to come out when the deer are out there, let's just use decoys all the time. The deer will stay out of the field. The turkeys will hopefully come in and get tricked close enough into range.
Right.
That's kind of where we are. I don't know, Wags. I don't know how much you've used them since I was out there, but
so the search continues.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to hunting lately. So I try hard though.
So he goes, "Hey, don't worry. I left the decoys in the blind." I'm like, yeah, okay. Hey, don't worry about it. Whatever. And then I was looking before I went back out there. I'm like, man, that Tom didn't come into the field. And I'm like, nah, this would have been a time to have those decoys out. So I'm like, okay, tomorrow. Totally forgot what Tasker had told me. I walk out, my blind opens, there's 2 turkeys on a swivel. Right, I jump. I go, whoa, what is that? It's out of me.
At least you didn't shoot it.
Yeah,
I know.
I told him, I said, all right, they're both in there. I have to tell you this so that when you open it, you don't get scared. But that was 48 hours after that. So
yeah,
but. Yeah, it was.
Maybe we should just call Milford Hills and see if they want to stock turkeys just for Erik.
Just for me. Yeah, can we? Well, if I shot one out of the roost, maybe I'd be all right then. But I don't think you can do that. So, yeah, it's. I don't know. I like to say that I learn something every year as we go through this, but until it starts to prove something, I'm not really sure. Not really sure.
So now,
and you know what else too? My food plots were. We talked about this before. Were absolutely ravished. The south plot where we turkey hunt out of, and it's been usual. I mean, there's always been green there, and now all of a sudden we're starting to see green pop up a little bit, and now the turkeys are starting to move. So it was dirt. I mean, the deer absolutely demolished the food plot this year because of so many that maybe, like what I'm seeing now, that the greens coming up, season 3, 4, and 5 may be more successful now that there's more green, because it's literally dirt. It was literally, they chewed it down to the dirt.
Really?
It was crazy. Yes.
Is that normal?
No, I've never seen it that bad.
So why do you think the deer did that this year? I mean, I wouldn't say it was a harsh winter, was it?
No, I'm just saying that prior to the winter coming up, they demolished it. The numbers were so big. We have to take does. We had to take does, and I need to do that because when those deer come off the ag fields, let's just say October, November, me sitting around or us sitting around waiting for a buck to come, as these does just continue to crush the salad bar, it's like, man.
Yeah. And that was the one thing that I said to Wags was just, first of all, I've complimented you on this, while we were out there, but what an incredible habitat for animals, because there are a ton of rabbits, there's a ton of squirrels, we know there's a bunch of turkeys around there, and the number of deer, it's just really kind of incredible. And I think, trying to get it done, the last couple of years, and then, maybe waiting and then not pulling the number of does out of there that you've hoped for the last couple of years, and, just trying to think about that in advance. I mean, the habitat is certainly there. We know that because there's so many that are walking around out there. Maybe it is. We just, once the season opens, you just start taking them, and, they're not as heavily pressured. So maybe it's a little bit easier to get shots off. And, but just really cool to be surrounded by all of that. I mean, I was sending Wags pictures. Oh, here's a fox. Oh, here's 4 hens. Oh, here's 6 deer that are, just walking around, browsing, not a concern in the world. And, yeah, I mean, I think just helping the numbers, come down a little bit in the deer world will help with the food plot for this year.
So I've got to ask you guys about guns and the type of guns you use. I mean, I use an over-under 12 gauge. You used the 12 when we were.
Yeah, I used my Remington 1100.
And I know you use a 12, right? I'm trying to remember Wags, right? Use a 12. Reason I bring this up is that 2 weeks ago, I was in Florida with my brother-in-law who hunts turkeys down there. And I was doing a Google search afterwards. He uses a 410.
Okay.
And I'm like, you use this small gun for turkeys? And he said, yeah. And if you buy this certain heavy load for them, that, and I quick did a Google search on my phone, and it came up, that because you're talking about close range shots to begin with.
Yeah.
But I was really surprised when he showed me the gun that he's using, and it was a 410.
I've seen that a lot more this year. I don't know what it is, but I've seen that caliber being used a ton with just a lot of people.
Is it because it's easier? It's a lighter gun. It's a smaller gun. I don't know. And I don't mean to just surprise you guys with a question here, but for example, right now I'm looking at 410 turkey shells. Winchester has the Long Beard TSS Turkey 410. They've got the XX Diamond Grade Turkey 410 with copper-plated lead ammo. There's a bunch of brands at Remington, for example, that has the tungsten in it, that type of stuff. So I guess maybe this is becoming a more popular gun to use when it comes to turkey hunting, which really surprised me because, I 20 gauge maybe, but the gun of choice for me has always been a 12 gauge.
Well, and speaking of that, now that I'm thinking as you were going over that, and was it too much when you gave Will your gun? You gave him the over-under to use, right?
Yep.
Did you remove your modified chokes and put in a turkey choke?
I did not.
Holy crap, I'm spraying. I killed 4 trees and no turkeys because I sprayed.
Thanks for
the modified choke in.
I know, and his uncle's going to go, where's the choke, Will? Okay. Right. I'll call him tonight. Thanks for the update. I appreciate that. Yeah. But anyway, when you look at it, and again, I bring this up because I was kind of surprised, that gun was used, and that's what he uses.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he swears by it. So.
Well, I'm not sure that it matters what I use. So.
You have had double trouble. You had your bow and your gun with you, right?
I did for the first couple days, and then I just started thinking, I'm just going to take the shotgun with. I'm only shooting if it's inside of 30 yards anyway. So.
There you go.
I can't get into too much trouble there. Hopefully.
Well, we're in period C right now, which runs through May 6th.
Yeah.
Then you've got 3 more left, the 7th through the 13th, the 14th through the 20th, and the late one that no one really likes. It's like you got stuck with the late one, but because of the warm weather and stuff like that. 21 through 27. Speaking of warm weather, next week, I know that you were lamenting the fact it's been cold and wet this week. Have you seen the forecast for next week?
No.
Sunny and mid-70s, maybe
Nice.
80s next week. So you got no excuse now, Tasker.
I can just say that thank God that I invested in like pretty much all new camo last year, and I bought like systems. So I have like light, medium, heavyweight. I've got vests and layers and light and heavier pullovers and whatever. I mean, there was one day I think there was like a 40-degree swing from the morning to the afternoon.
Really?
It was like high 30s, and it was almost 70 degrees by the afternoon. So it's like you're peeling layers, you're like trying to adjust, and then all of a sudden you're hunting until 8 o'clock because, last light is 7:50 or whatever.
Right.
I mean, you're going all the way bare bones back to putting layers on. You're going through all of those different changes throughout the day. So we got a little taste of that, but it wasn't much. I think there was just one day where we had those crazy swings and really, really warm. I mean, I think our biggest thing, Wags, was how many times did we go back and forth and say the weatherman wasn't right again or the weatherman's off? It seemed like every day.
Always.
Every day it seemed like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but well,
well.
we'll get back out there, Wags. We'll get back.
We'll get them.
We'll get them out there.
By the way, just for you, Eric, outdoornews.com. Here's the article. What can go wrong or shall go wrong in the turkey woods? So you may want to read that.
Okay, I'm going to find that right now, and I'll read it during the break.
You read that during the break. All right, Wags, I know you got to hop. You've got baseball duties you've got to get to. Let's touch on the Dock Hounds, who are great partners for this show. You guys are cranking up, next week or in 2 weeks yet?
Yeah, May 9th through the 11th, opening in Chicago with a day off. And then that Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we are in Milwaukee facing the Milkmen. And then the 16th is our home opener at Blue Ribbon Circle, WBC Park, where the Dockhounds call home. So, again, we'll have 6 games under our belt on the road, Chicago and Milwaukee, and then we open up at home on that 16th. So, again, looking forward to, as Tim Allen says, the championship season, and we are looking forward to it. We are definitely looking forward to it. A lot of good players, a lot of good baseball. Again, I always say this and I stress this, with the opportunities in Wisconsin, the opportunity to go see cheaper entertainment. I'm not saying anything bad about our Brewers, but sometimes a Brewers is an investment. A Brewer game is an investment game, whereas the Dockhounds, the Milkmen, you can come out here, enjoy yourself for a few hours. If you have to go, you have to go. You can have some good food, some good beer, and just enjoy yourself and not be out there all days of the hour thinking that you need to stay for the full game because of the fact of the investment you made.
Well, I think the investment that you guys have made, too, is top-notch, and it's family fun. It's, as you said, it's affordable, and the baseball is pretty good, too. So, my friend, we'll let you hop. I know you got some pictures to work out this morning. We appreciate you joining us for a few minutes, and we'll listen for you throughout the week on all the shows you're on, and hopefully you'll find time to squeeze into ours next week, okay?
Absolutely. Season starts May 9th. I'll have much more time. All right, boys, have a good rest of your weekend.
All right, buddy. Thank you, Paul. That is the Paul Wagner joining us today via the telephone, not in studio, because now it's got to be the norm for Wags. We'll get him in as much as we can on these shows, but he's a busy guy because he's the pitching coach of the Lake Country Dockhounds. Our friends at Bunzel's, Erik Tasker, have a new deal for the month, right?
Monthly meat deal for May.
What you got?
So it's all kind of themed around pork, it seems. We got a couple Italian sausages, a whole trim pork tenderloin. We've got a whole or cut up chicken, a pound of ground chuck, and 2 chicken patties, as they always do. $20.25. What a deal. And if you're also looking for deals, we always do our show on Saturdays, but if you follow their Facebook page, they always have a 2-day sale, which is on a Wednesday and Thursday, and they update that every week. And so if you follow their Facebook page and say that you saw that deal, whatever the deal is that you're interested in,
right,
you'll actually get the discounted price.
They'll take care of you.
Yeah, so they do like $1 off, whether that's like chorizo sausage or country style pork ribs or whatever it is. They're always running deals, but it's always the Wednesday and Thursday of the week. So if you like their Facebook page, follow along with everything they have going on there, you'll be able to save yourself a couple bucks.
The website is bunzels.com.
Correct.
With a Z.
Yeah, Bunzels.
Do they do mail order stuff too? You go online. Do they ship?
I guess I thought that they did like you can buy online and pick up in store.
Right.
I don't know if they actually ship.
I'm just curious. Not that I don't need to do that, but our folks in Madison listening in, if they want to sample,
they can do that. Or when they come to the Brewers game or Brewer Palooza.
Well, that is a great idea. How about that? Brewer Palooza, here's what you do. You go to Bunzel's. Well, you don't need to. Well, you can always go to Bunzel's, but of course we have a tailgate party. So so now the guys at Lefts are mad at me because I just sent them to Bunzel's instead of our tailgate party.
Yeah.
No. But,
well. That's okay.
Yeah. By the way, June 13th, a lot of buzz about this. June 13th, Brewers and Cardinals, 7:10 first pitch. You can get yourself a game ticket in our section, plus Left's Tailgate, which has beer, soda, water, burgers, brats, chicken, hot dogs, salads, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's, for one low price, $45. $45.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So, but here's the thing. Okay, we only got a certain amount of tickets.
Yeah.
And they're almost gone. I'm blown away by the response on this. Well, maybe not because, it's such a great value.
It blew up pretty quick.
But yeah, it started with Nooner Day and now it's blown up to this. And so it's, as we've said in the promos, we feel like we're one big family. So it's kind of like a family reunion. All you listeners out there, you want to meet Zabe? Come to Brewer Palooza.
Yeah.
Brewer Palooza. You want to meet Drew and KB? Come to the event. Yeah. You want to meet Armin? You want to meet Billy? Come to the event. If you want to complain to me, come to the event. We'll all be there. Maybe we should see if we can get Wags there. No, he can't. That's right. He's on the road.
Yeah, he'll be
we touched on that on one of the many shows, and he was on this week.
Yeah.
So will you be in the woods today or tomorrow?
No.
No?
No, not with the stepdaughter just coming home from Barcelona. I think we're going to do some like family stuff. And her number one request, it's so funny. She's been eating all this great food, this European food, the Spanish food for 4 months now. Her number one request when she came home.
Pizza.
Culver's.
Oh, Culver's,
so we're going to get back out there, though. I know Wags has got some other tags to fill, so it's okay. It's okay. It's all fine.
I'll give you, I shared this story, I think, with you guys a couple of years ago on the show, and it's one of my fondest hunting memories. I'll make it short.
Okay.
And it fits because it's turkey season. So my stepson was with his grandfather in the tent, and maybe you'll remember this story. They're in the tent, and the tent had mesh. It's a camouflage tent. It's got mesh over the windows, right? So I'm about 30 yards to their left, and I can see a whole group that's coming, and it's walking along. They're walking kind of on a fence line towards them. Well, I turn to my right, and I'm on a ground blind. And so I turn to my right, and I'm following them, but they're too far away for me to shoot.
Yeah.
And as they turn to get closer to me, well, the line of fire is going to be this tent, right? So I'm kind of whispering, kind of going, come on now. They're going to walk right in front of you, right?
Yeah.
And my stepson at the time, I think he's 14.
Okay.
So I'll pick up his story. So they see it. Two big toms are leading them in, and they're coming right in front of the tent. And Will starts to pull up his gun, and his grandfather is like, Will, get ready. Here they come. Here they come. Here they come. And he goes, Grandpa, I can't shoot because the mesh is over the windows. He goes, shoot through it. And he did. Got his first tom when he was 14. And there's a hole to this day in that turkey blind where he blew out the window.
Yeah. It's funny because Wags was saying the same thing. He had the mesh up. And, when he called me the one night when he was sitting out there and those two birds walked out, he said, I'm not doing anything, but if they come any closer, I'm shooting through the side of this blind.
That's what Will did.
And that's what it's there for. I mean, you can shoot broadheads through it. I mean, with your arrows and everything.
And for me, I think the coolest thing about it is it's a memory that Will will always have with his grandfather.
For sure.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so, I'm proud of him. He hasn't really hunted much the last couple of years, focusing on school, job, career, that type of stuff. But is getting back into it this weekend. So we wish him luck hunting up in the Reedsburg area. So,
hey, did you know that this year Wisconsin State Parks is celebrating 125 years?
I heard that rumor.
Yeah.
So what does that mean?
They've got they're
free passes, cake, and cookies, or what?
No, of course not. They're expecting 20 million visitors.
20
this year.
Woo!
Yeah, to the Wisconsin State Parks. They've got a cool sticker, 125th commemorative anniversary sticker. It's kind of a cool little tree with a tent and a fire kind of all built into one design.
And I'm guessing that Doug Russell and his wife, the lovely Mrs. Doug Russell, have hiked every state park in Wisconsin.
Probably.
That's what they do.
That's
their
their
passion.
thing.
Yes, that is their thing.